Okay, happy Saturday, everyone. Some interesting news I'm going to talk about just because it's, I think, lighthearted and happy news. Is Russia's aircraft carrier, the Admiral Kuznetsov. They launched it in the mid 90s. It has been operational off and on from then till about 2017. Uh, it was a what's called a jump carrier. It is not a big heavy duty carrier like what the Americans have. A jump carrier means it has the ramp up, as it does not have the uh, uh, piston system that you need, that a catapult system uses to launch planes. It is a very technologically inferior carrier. The Russians built it because they did not have any carriers. The Americans had a bunch of them, and they wanted some kind of carrier to say, we have a carrier. Um, Please understand this is in no way, shape, or form an equivalent platform to American carriers, including the American carriers in the 90s. I would argue this is probably not an this not probably this is not an equivalent platform to either British or Japanese carriers. Um, why am I talking about this carrier? Well, because since 2017 she's been in dry dock. She's had all kinds of mechanical problems. She never really worked right. And so they put her in dry dock in 2017, and they have been trying to retrofit and repair her and get her to work right. And they keep having to stop the project because they keep running out of money. They've got all the problems with sanctions. They can't get the parts they need. Well, they've officially shut down the repair and refit. She is dead in the water permanently at this point. So Russia's only aircraft carrier is probably the next time she leaves dry dock, it will be for the scrapyard where they will sell her for scrap metal. To give you an idea how bad of a carrier this was, as you know, American carriers are nuclear. They can run for many years without being refueled. Other countries run carriers that use essentially like a marine diesel or something like that. They use a substance, the Admiral Kuznetsov, sorry if I say that right, uses something called mazut. There is no English word for that because no Western naval vessel runs on it. It is a heavy tar like fuel, and when you burn it, it sends out an incredibly large, thick plume of deep black smoke. You can see it from miles away. Think about maybe you've seen like a movie or a documentary like World War One battleships or something, and they have these just enormous plumes of thick black smoke, and you're like, oh my god, look at all this stuff. You can see it from miles away. It's perfect for spotting, or more importantly, perfect for targeting. That is what it runs on. That's what they built in the mid 90s. This is not some old aircraft carrier from pre World War II. In the mid 90s, this is what the Russian Navy came up with. She's dead. She's not going anywhere. I bring this up because I've done videos before. I've talked about the fact that Russia lost 1/3 of her Black Sea fleet, including her flagship. Um, this war has been a disaster for the Russian Navy. It continues to be because, frankly, the Russian Navy is so broke right now, spending money on the war in Ukraine, that they have simply given up trying to repair their only remaining aircraft carrier. I understand that if you are a big Tucker Carlson fan or any Ian Miles Chong or one of those other ones, Tim Pool, you probably are under the impression that the Russian military is this incredible juggernaut. That's why they've been stuck in the mud in Ukraine for 3.5 years because they're just unstoppable and unbeatable. Russia no longer has an aircraft carrier that they're even going to try to fix. So yeah, pretty much the end of the Russian aircraft carrier fleet. Given that Russia is, oh, by the way, another interesting note on Russia. Their population for January, February, and March declined by a little over 50,000 each month. The numbers are so bad that as of April, they have classified their demographic data. They are no longer going to release it because it's just too damn depressing. To give you an idea how bad things are, Russia recently announced they're going to import 1 million Indian immigrants to fill not all, but to fill some of the unfilled jobs that they have. Le Monde was reporting recently, and these numbers I happen to agree with, having looked at Russian demographics, that between now and 2030, the Russians have to find 10 million additional workers because so many older workers will either retire or die between now and then, and they don't have anybody to replace them. Bringing in 1 million Indian immigrants solves about 6 months of that problem. Roughly speaking. So they still need to find about 9 million more, and these immigrants are not coming there to be permanent residents, they're coming there on work visas. So how long will they stay in Russia? Good question. How skilled will they be? Another good question. I don't have the answers to those. But if you want to get an idea, the Russian rail network. I forgot to mention this. I was reading through something the other day. Some of the Russian rail lines are only at 60% staffing right now because they cannot find anybody to work. That is how bad the labor shortage is. So every time you think about the war in Russia and you think about all the young Russian men being killed, remember that is a young man who's probably in his 20s who the Russians were counting on working in a factory, in a shop, in an office, on a farm, on a railroad for 40 years. That's 40 man years of labor gone. Also 40 man years of consumption gone. Remember, economics is both supply and demand. It's labor and consumption. So if you want to get an idea how bad the Russian demographic crisis is getting, we're at the point where 1 million Indians on work visa covers about 6 months of their problem. So either way, I find this all to be lighthearted news. I'm enjoying watching Russia fall apart. It is mind-boggling to me why people, outside of the fact they have a large nuclear inventory and a lot of fossil fuels, this idea that there's some mega global power and Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump are two emperors who are going to divide up the world between them is just silly. It's like saying I'm going to get real skinny next week or something. It's not going to happen, guys. Either way, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. I'll be gone for the next week, and I'll see you when I get back. Bye-bye.